Marsh Landers. First of all, good job, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so welcome to ConfiDENTS podcast, conversation with a tech in the beginning stages of their journey. And the conversation will be a few questions that I've put together to start addressing not just the aspect of confidence of what you've personally gone through, but also to help build up some confidence of guys or gals that are looking to get into training.
Sure.
So hearing somebody else's story, can help and do wonders. So
Absolutely.
I'm grateful every time you guys sit down with me. It means a lot. So I'm gonna crack open my Jocko. This is your first Jocko.
This is my first.
And you like the taste so far.
Yeah, it's good.
And you've seen me take down quite a few already.
Oh, yeah.
I like.
We've searched for one or two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They go
I'll
quick.
drink it and I'll forget that I had already finished it. And yep, I love my Jockos, man. All right. I'm working on a sponsorship. That's the behind the scenes
that's great.
mission.
Yeah.
All right. So question number one.
Okay.
Okay, I've noticed the number 24 on the back of the truck. So I'm gonna try to tie in some of the stuff that we've talked about over the past 2 weeks and see how it relates to dent repair. So
Okay.
I've seen the number 24 on the back, and I haven't asked about it, but I don't know if it's a Jeff Gordon or if it's a Richard Petty. I don't know who is the 24 to you first before I ask my question.
Okay, so the name is Charlie Lucas.
Okay.
So when me and my brother, and we grew up at the dirt tracks. My father, he raced, but then he also became an official and a flagman. So we grew up every weekend at the racetrack. And Charlie was one of the drivers that I just admired. Didn't really know much about him. I was just a kid, but I loved the way his car looked. And all through the years, Charlie was my driver. And when I got into racing myself, it was a no-brainer. 24 was my
24.
number. Yeah.
Okay.
And my brother, he took on his little childhood hero number. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Charlie Lucas.
Okay, so Charlie Lucas.
Yep.
So then my question is, what about Charlie do you think you adopted character-wise that you saw in him, that you brought into your own way you operate, and how that is that a part of what got you into, through, or did you notice having an impact on you during training?
Yes, and that's an easy one. When I was younger, not so much, because I was just a fan of his car, how it looked, and I loved racing. But as I got older and I got to reconnect with his son recently, just a lot of our conversations, he just had no quit. If he failed, something went wrong, pick up the broken pieces and just keep going, keep pushing, don't quit.
Yeah.
And if you don't quit, you get a better chance at winning. And he did, he won a lot. So yeah, that was the easy one.
Okay,
No quit.
I would say that's killer. So I love the never quit mentality. Through this, you're going to have days that are, and you've already said it, you already know there's a butt kicking coming on some days and some chapters moving forward. As you hone in these skills, sharpen these skills, put in reps, and it is that don't quit, that never quit mentality that's going to get you pushed through those days. And you're a family man, and so you've got a lot that's motivating you to constantly dig down deep and tap into that never quit. So that's cool that you got that from him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, then along the lines of racing, we talked a little bit about you beating some panels and saving panels. Okay. Now that you've done more of the finesse, methodical, maintaining original paint on a panel, a much less aggressive approach. When you're saving those panels, you said that it wasn't necessarily for perfection, but more for function, right?
Yes.
To keep the panel.
Yes.
Where on PDR, the goal is precision.
Yes.
To make the damage not just flatten the metal, but disappear. Did the panel beating before give you a different perspective from our approach in training?
Totally different. For me, it was about going through the motions, beating it, trying to get it flat, get it good enough. Does it look good from 5 feet away? Good enough for us. You know, that was, you're talking about the race car panels, right? Yeah. And there, you just hope what you were doing would make a difference and it would eventually get good enough. So precision was out the window. It was just hope for the best, you know. Beat it enough times, hit it enough times, and you'll make it better eventually, but it was just two different worlds. Coming in here, it's like, now I'm ready to go fix some dents on a race car.
So you're, oh man.
Yeah.
The metal feel the same?
It seems more stretchy on the sheet aluminums.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a lot of things go into composite bodies, so there's very little, if anything, you can do with those, but there's still a lot of the car that does use the sheet aluminum. It just seems very, very thin. It's powder coated, so very thin surface for the finish, and it just seems to stretch a lot easier.
Is there more of like, I hope I hit in the right place and get the effect that I'm looking for, compared to in here, we're very intentional. We need to be pushing very precise, specific places at specific times.
Now, there's a lot that over the last couple of weeks that, yes, I can make that process a whole lot better, but to compare what I've been introduced to this last couple of weeks versus how I would approach those panels is just nowhere near close. Just for me, first of all, the structure of those cars are totally different. For your leverage points, you can make some leverage spots, but I can't even compare them. Yeah, the precision here, you see the results because it's intentional. Comparing that to the past, there was nothing intentional.
Is there bracing behind your
There
panels?
is some bracing, but there's a lot of openness, and they'll do ribs and roll ribs into the panel to keep it, from being flimsy. Stabilize it. But once you get damage in that just so much, it's just, there was a phrase you called the metal when you overwork it. Yes. That happens so much on these panels because when you get hit, you're usually from the side and the back, and then when you try to straighten it out, it's just, not impossible. But I will say this, even though I never think of myself getting into fixing race car panels, but I know what to not do the next time I have to revisit that step. Yeah.
So then is tension and compression even words that are going through your mind at all when you're doing the racing panels?
Not before, now, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though it was originally just a flat sheet of aluminum, it does get formed intentionally, just like we were talking about. I believe day one, the compression and tension. Yes, you're taking, even though it's a flat piece of aluminum, and you're shaping it and forming it and then bracing it down. That's where it's intentionally meant to be. So with all those points of where it's secured to your bracing, and then you get into an impact, yes, you need to try to get back to that where you initially wanted those panels to be. So yes, I can take a lot to that.
When you are beating it or putting it back as straight as possible, is there a point where you're like, okay, this is going to mess with maybe aerodynamics or any of that come into play?
It can, especially if you overwork it and it just loses its form, or you have an option to add more bracing at that point. But for us, it's more aesthetics, and it's, within, you can spend hours on something like that, and within a half a lap, your damage is right back where it was.
Back where it was. Yeah. If you add bracing, is adding weight a concern?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. You have a minimum that you have to be, and you try to just stay right there. So
I want to say in Abilene, when I went to the races in early high school, I saw a guy jump out of his car, grab a panel, rip it off, and then go drive again. What do you think that might have been? And he took damage to it, so I assume maybe he just didn't want it flopping around or whatever. But
yeah, in this type of racing, they don't give you really an opportunity to do, and there's not enough laps or time to go in and make a major repair like that. So you're all about finish. We said it, no quit, right? Just keep going. And sometimes in a situation like that, you don't have a pit crew to take your damage in consideration and get you moving forward. You have to get out and just do it yourself. You have a choice to quit or get out, rip it off, keep that going, and at least place somewhere,
Yeah, I thought
So,
that was wild that he
yeah.
did that, and he just kept going. He almost jumped out like, well, nobody else is going to do it. I'm going to do it real quick. And
Right.
he grabbed it,
That's
ripped
exactly
it.
what
and-
he did.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
wild.
Yep.
All right, getting away from racing just a little bit, okay? And
Okay.
now we're moving into the kitchen.
All right.
All right.
Oh,
So, you've been in the restaurant industry for
Yes.
quite some time, and very familiar with the inner workings of it, the demand, the skill that's necessary.
Yes.
It's a very labor-intensive, emotionally, mentally. The restaurant industry is tough. What do you think? What kind of character traits do you think you took from the restaurant industry that is going to make you maybe even a better dent guy than some?
When you perfect the product, when you get the system down that works, that's efficient, and every day can bring new challenges. You know, there's all kinds of elements that can dictate how the day's going to start off, but you know what needs to be in place, what steps need to be taken to get you back in line. And in the food business, the owner of the company I worked for, very driven to perfection, like very driven. And you adopt that way of thinking, you have to fall in line with that and see that vision that he has, and you stick with it. And I can relate that to this. You've given us the knowledge, you've given us the knowledge of the tools, you've put us in, as students, you put us in a scenario, you've taught us to be precise, and all these certain steps, you just stick to the plan. Stick to what you know is gonna eventually get where the end result needs to be.
So being under somebody, different than running the show yourself, but being under somebody, I guess one thing I complained about our industry for a while is the passion and the quality. And so when I'm in here, I try to sprinkle in experience, conversation, some sort of bigger than dent repair character that I think the industry should have, and not just pushing dents to make money. Did I do anything that helps set the tone for how we should operate outside of dents? And did you also see that from maybe the restaurant owners that you worked under, and how much of an impact do you think that makes on you, or do you carry that with you? Do you see yourself carrying anything that maybe have any of that rubbed off and been a benefit to you, I guess?
Sure, but I will compare the two from the restaurant industry to now that you're very clear on is integrity, a relationship with your customers, relationship with other technicians. We have to be the same way in the food business. Everyone can have a variance of opinion, right? But as a structure in the food business, we're all after one goal. But it's the customer first. It's the integrity, how you treated those customers. Did you do them fair? Were they satisfied? If yes, good. If not, what does it take to make sure that they leave satisfied and you know that you did your job well? And it takes a team of a large team in the world I came from to make that happen. And here, I sense from you that even though someone else down the road may be a technician, have their own shop, totally separate from this place, and you as well, and me in the future, that we share the same integrity, share the same standards and goals and how we are to treat each other, but treat the customer as well. You know,
the restaurant industry does it, and I kind of stumbled through that question, but I love the answer. And what I see you guys do best compared to other industries is your customer is a guest. Y'all become good hosts. Carrying that guest, you're my guest mentality into dent repair is going to be huge. I go into a lot of shops or work around other technicians, and they don't always treat their customers like you're my guest. Let me be a good host. And in our interaction, I see that on you, and that's gonna go very far with with you and your customers. It's little things like that that will set you apart, that you're not going to have to worry about. Like I was saying a minute ago, 10 other dent guys can come set up next to me. I'm going to continue to separate myself in the fact that I'll treat my customers as guests, as friends, family, although they're a paying customer, right? But I think that's gonna, is the restaurant industry the first industry you kind of saw that aspect of, like, these are our guests here. They're not just coming to my cash register and paying. It's not transactional.
Because and you build a relationship with them, especially when they come back over and over and over, and you recognize them, and then it's almost like it becomes family, like they're a part of your everyday life. Even though you're there for a job, they're there because they're hungry. You know, they're your customer, but it's like it becomes more than just I'm here to make my money, you're here to pay me the money, I did my job, thank you. It's much more than that. Because you're gonna see them. If they're a young couple, you're going to see them start a family, then you're going to see their kids grow up, and then their kids grow up and get married, and now they're your customers, and you build that relationship, and it just grows, you know.
And they're spending $100 or less, or maybe more with you.
Right.
And now you being able to treat them like family, guests, and they're handing you their $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 vehicle. Man, that treating them like family, like a guest, is gonna, it'll go so far with building and maintaining your customer base.
Absolutely.
So I have noticed that on you in how you act in here. Very much carry that from the restaurant industry. All right, so I ask this not to every student, but every once in a while I ask, that moment where things start to click. So whether it's reading a dent, a certain tool, getting control over a certain tool, understanding how the metal moves, what is maybe one memorable moment of something clicking and kind of maybe even building some excitement for you?
Oh, day one. There was a few moments, but day one, just understanding the metal itself, understanding what's going on around the dent. It was just...
That's my security. My security, they reset.
It was more of it was definitely the first day when you described the metal and what's going on, the impact area, the crown around the dent, and understanding the approach to correcting that dent. Like I said, in the past, working on race car panels, it was just get it on a flat surface, something big and flat, get it as flat as you possibly can, do it over and over and over, and hopefully it's good. Bang it out, and then seeing that, and it opened my eyes like, yes,
that's awesome.
It made me more excited because then it gave me a precise target of what we're after, what the approach especially.
Yeah. Identifying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can't fix a problem that you can't identify.
Right.
And I realized 5-6 years even into my own journey, I'd never taken the time to identify what a dent is, let alone the metal before the dent even happens. I never gave it any kind of identity. It was very much a constant guessing. And in that, you can't create consistency. So creating consistency is it's of the utmost importance in what we do, creating consistency. And one of the ways of doing that is understanding just what a dent actually is in the first place. And then, then it's, so that's killer. Before we put tool in hand, I got to know, I need for you guys to understand why we're even getting a certain tool in our hands, because we know what we're looking at, we know what's available to us to be able to approach that, put together a game plan. So that means a lot to me, because the day I make it day one for a reason. It's what impacted me the most in my journey when things first started clicking for me, that was start identifying and understanding what a dent actually is.
Right. I left that day just overly confident in the process, because if I had that much insight and had that much understanding. Even though these hands hadn't yet fixed a dent, just knowing where this is going, where this is leading, and this is good. This is going to be awesome because you're seeing a direct target. You know, yes, everybody can see a dent and go, "I just need to push that out," but it was much deeper than that, much more than that, that gave me understanding and comprehension.
Sweet.
Not just know, everybody can see a dent. You're right, but to see where you're going to aim for, where you the whole point of what I'm about to be doing is you need to know those targets.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome. Very
it was
cool.
great. It was a good day.
All right. Now, in that process,
Okay.
there were a couple times where you kind of mentioned like you were a little unsure on how the day was going to go, you know, going into a different skill. There was a little anticipation of whether or not you were going to, I forgot how you worded it. It wasn't like that you didn't understand it, but if you were going to be able to grasp it or perform or something. There was something that you mentioned, it's like yesterday or the day before, where you'd go into each skill almost kind of like a little, you know, anxious, you know, maybe a little uncertainty going into one.
Right.
But after getting a little hands-on, little bit of guidance, and then also seeing me like demo something.
Yes.
What was that process like for you?
So day one, it was very exciting just to get the information and go ahead and absorb some knowledge, even without having a tool in hand. And just knowing, laying out the game plan and the steps that were to follow. And then to be able to see myself make progress and get results with the knowledge that, like I said, started from day one. So it's kind of building up and building up. And we talked about butt kickings. There was a few, but there was some victory moments too. So
tons of them.
It's all kind of just, for me, it was all kind of spread out a little bit, intertwined some in some days, but then to watch you do the whole process from beginning to end, to see it displayed like just,
no, you're
start
good.
That over.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
But,
we got like a minute. I'll go over and reset it. So.
Okay, but it was just good to just see the beginning to end, even the interaction with the customer, the price points, everything, and then see the work done, cleaned, and out the door. It was just good for me to see that.
It's doable.
It is, like, this is doable. And I don't want to say, oh, this is just easy, anybody can do it. But I didn't think I could really do it 3 weeks ago. Now I have a lot of confidence. Yes, I have some homework to do. Yes, I need to get some skills built up. But like,
you can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, sweet. That's kind of what I want y'all to take away from those demo moments is,
Yes.
And when I step in and do anything or finish anything, it's really not like that. I didn't bring to the table anything that, like, you, as soon as you see it, you were predicting where I was about to push, where I was about to tap. You were calling it in your head out loud. And then when you see it happen, there wasn't that much more time that went by. There wasn't much more that I really brought to the table. And that will kind of even levels you up to like, okay, repetition's going to get me there too. I'll be able to do the same thing. It wasn't mystery. It wasn't like I've got some magic wand or superpower. It's like, this is in you. We're already laying the foundation for you to do the same exact thing, and you're hands-on doing it. And man, if I step in at all, it's like, oh, what he did, I can do that.
That's a good point, because there was a couple of times where I wouldn't say I hit a wall, but maybe mentally I did. Like, okay, I'm so tuned in on the smallest detail, but maybe I overthought it, and it's like I would need to reach in and ask for some help. And then when I saw what you did to finish that little area, I was just like, I can do this. But it gave me confidence, because like we were talking earlier, seeing you start a job all the way to its completion, it allowed me to kind of fulfill that in my own self. Start working on a dent. Even though there was a couple of times I didn't get to completion, I knew what needed to be done. It was just I needed that extra confidence to finish it out. And it was given. It was given greatly. So,
Sweet.
yep.
The next question, I'm going to try not to butcher this.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll hear my heart in this question.
All right.
Okay. I get calls from guys before training, and they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and one of the concerns is like, am I making a good decision by starting to pursue this a little bit later in life? And or I get a conversation of, I just want to learn something to where I can spend the next, chapter just making some side money. I'm in retirement. I just want to make some side money, supplement, keep me busy. No matter what the conversation is, the outcome of y'all's experience, like the perspective of this is possibly too late, or this is just to get me through this last chapter, maybe learning something different, totally disappears after the 2 weeks. And I see you guys almost look at life like, oh, this is like, there's not a, how can I say this? There's not, you guys almost start to look at life youthful again. Like, I got a whole career in front of me, man.
Yep.
As doable as it is, as possible as it is to learn this with the right guidance, I am yet to have somebody 40, 50, 60 leave training and think this is just how I'm wrapping up life. Like, it's almost like I've got new life in me.
Yes.
It's kind of cool to see some of that. Were you discouraged being in the industry, restaurant industry, 20 years or so, right? A long time you're in the restaurant
Yes.
industry, racing, many, many years, growing up in that. You're taking on tenting. You've been in tenting for many years. So
Yes.
you've been in these industries for many years. Now you're undertaking a whole new craft, skill, going into it. Were you concerned about it being, at the age or this much later or anything? And now that you've got this, are you even thinking about age?
Not now.
Yeah.
Not now. And yes, it was in the back of your mind. And a lot of that came to, I knew from first getting into the restaurant industry to just this past year of how you evolve in your skill level and just all the different elements that kind of makes you who you are. All of it. It took a few years, but I keep going back to day one. Up until day one, I knew this is something I wanted to get into, and I didn't think too much of the age, but I knew, man, you better make this count. You better make sure every move you make is a good move, intentional, so that you don't waste time. You don't have time to waste to get this where it needs to be. To now, I can rest easy. I have the confidence. I know it's up to me now, not time. It's up to me to just keep one foot in front of the other. The knowledge and confidence that I have now, there's no question that I will do great moving forward. And we've talked a lot personally. We're not promised tomorrow, so I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I'm just going to worry about today. I feel better about today than I did 2 weeks ago, talking about the PDR world. I feel way better.
I probably butchered how I framed that and set that up,
No.
but I get conversations. I have a student that's coming Monday,
Okay.
and he's been with his company for, I want to say, like 20 years or so. He started off in detailing, got into wheel repair. They're a good reconditioning company, and now they're investing in him to come and learn PDR. And one of the first things we talked about is, he said, well, I'm in my 50s. Is this something that I should even be attempting to try? Is it too late? And it's wild. Everybody that's come to me after 15, 20 years in some sort of industry, one of the concerns is, and you're a young dude in your 30s, right?
Yeah, just a little over 30. Yeah.
But
I was going to say earlier, I felt 50 going on 60, but after the last 2 weeks, I'm definitely 50 going on 30. So
Okay,
we're going in the
that's awesome.
right direction.
Okay.
This is good.
So what's wild is age is a big concern, and what I find from each one of you guys is maybe because you're a little bit older, okay, the maturity aspect, that helps with focus. That makes you guys very receptive to the training, makes you much more effective with the training. As where, not that the young guys that come through aren't great students, and I'll fight to make sure this is really soaking in and we're pointing in the right direction, but I can judge myself when I was in my 20s and 30s. So I'm in my 30s when I'm at 30, 29 or 30. I'm at 30 when I get into this industry. How old am I? 29 or 30, okay? But my 20s, my teens, never focused. My 20s, I'll be young forever. Wasn't serious, but my older students that come through have this like maturity and focus that I think big time benefits you guys. And then as effective as we are in here, you guys, like, I never hear the age conversation after training. I hear it coming up before training, should I commit, but afterwards, I never hear it. It's kind of cool, like you guys totally forget one of y'all's biggest concerns, you know?
Right.
And you, when we had our first conversation, age wasn't like a huge problem, but you were like, here's kind of where I'm at, you know? And so you're realistic, you know? And now that we've been hanging out, like,
now that I'm 30,
you got a whole bunch of life in you, dude. Like, you can imagine there's like a lot to be experienced moving forward rather than, you know, am I, you know, starting later behind the gun. And I love that I love that for you guys. I want everybody to enjoy dent repair for what it is. And so every time something's addressed right away, I like that those things usually we overcome those, you know, whatever the concerns are, moving forward with passion. And the age one is a big one. I don't think it's too late to start dent repair at any age. I've got a guy coming out that's in his 60s, and I'll enjoy seeing that from him too. But yeah,
I will always respect. I'll call them the veterans of PDR. I'll always respect the time put in, the long years, and let's just say the butt kickings to make them what they are now. And I don't want to take that for granted. But I will say, I feel like in the last 2 weeks, a lot of the hardships or butt kickings, stumbling blocks that I might face, I believe I might have been spared from a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take that for granted, but I want to respect those people who have really put in the years, and it is what it is. But for me, right here, right now, moving forward, I'm at peace. I am confident. I am good with what knowledge I have now to move forward and pursue as far as I want it to go. As long as I have breath, as big as I want to make it, I have the confidence that I'm on the right track.
Awesome. That means a lot. Thinking about training, that was something I was concerned about. I want to make sure you guys, and you've heard me say it many times, like everything that we've discussed or gone over, I've talked about how I've screwed it up before, and I don't want you guys to have to go through the same thing. And so there are guys in the industry that have gotten a little upset with me, how I offer training, price points, whatever. And I'm not doing what I'm doing in any ways meaning to insult them, because they have put in a ton of time. But to their credit, these guys that have been in the industry 25, 30 years, I've only been in the industry going on 15 years. So guys that have been in it 25 and 30 years, they should understand that everything I've consumed from them also helped me speed up some of my stuff. And so I think guys with time are going to be learning this faster and faster and faster. So yeah, I don't think age is a big issue going into this.
On the issue of the pushback on teaching that you kind of received, you know, the other day we were talking about it, and it was kind of funny, but it made a good point. You see a guy getting jumped by 5 other guys. If you throw an instructional book on karate at him, say, hey, good luck, the guy's going to get beat up. He's not going to have a chance to read it and get it right. He's getting beat up. He's going to be discouraged. He's defeated. So sometimes you like maybe teach him to run first, and then show him how maybe to fight back or avoid those people. It's the tools. It's the knowledge of how to stay out of situations. You gave us precise and clear information on when you do get yourself in this situation, how to get out of it. There's no sense, and we're going to have stumbling moments, butt kickings, no matter what. at least you gave us the knowledge and the tools how to get your way out of that and make it a success.
Awesome. Cool. I think I got one more question.
Okay.
So my question is, and this may not be the question we end up running with.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you could go back to yourself prior to training and give yourself a piece of advice. You could either, or what would that advice be? You can either answer that, or prior to training and now exiting training, no, we'll just stick with that.
Okay.
What advice would you give yourself prior to training? Knowing now what training was like, what you've accomplished, if you could give yourself some advice, which helps me too, to be honest, because every time I get something like this from you guys, I try to sprinkle that in for future guys coming in. But anything that I may or may not have said prior to training, now that you're out of training, what would you go back and tell Marsh prior?
It would be one of the very first things you said on day one. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Have peace, relax, trust the process. Even each day that might start off and you feel like you're going good and then it went south quick, but then he showed you how to get out of it. At the end of the day, you got back to that confident level, the confidence that you needed. So trust the process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
Confidence. That's exactly why I named the podcast this. I want to give you guys what I knew I should have had early on. If you build up that confidence, the problems are a lot more manageable. Confidence and the never quit is going to make you a killer PDR tech. You know, no matter what that journey looks like, whether it's pretty some days or not, but the confidence and the never quit, man, that goes a long way in what we do. Before we wrap it up, any questions for me? You don't have to, but
I have a question for you. Outside of PDR, what is one of your greatest passions or gifts?
Oh man, the setup, music. So we had a good conversation about music.
The boy can sing.
Awesome. And since since we've had that conversation going home too, it's been sprinkled in quite a bit at the house.
Yeah.
I mentioned it one time, and now the girls keep asking me every once in a while, okay, so then, when are you going to dust off the guitar? When are we going to go sing? What open mic are we going to be going to soon?
Yeah.
And so, you might have started something, but music is my passion.
Well, it's just like what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. It's never too late, and sometimes we have to kind of look at what we're teaching others or the example we're giving to others and advice we give that's good, and sometimes kind of receive that ourselves and say, you know what, it's so.
No, I needed that.
Yeah.
Music is my first love. I love dent repair. But I got into dent repair because somebody said I couldn't get into dent repair, and then it became a necessities for means to provide for the family. But as I got into it, I realized I loved it and became passionate about it. And then I became passionate about how can this be a less harsh road for the next guy, because I want more people to enjoy this. I've found water in the desert. I want people to come and enjoy the water, and what my little walk to the water hole looked like. How can I keep them from stumbling the way I did, because I want them to enjoy the water. That's how the PDR process played out. But the music, man, it's something that just, it is my first love. That's wild. That is wild. All right, I think that's a good place to wrap up, man. This has been a killer 2 weeks. You're a good dude. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you in the shop. I think you're going to be an amazing tech. And whether you start your own business or somebody has the honor of, having you in their shop servicing for them, I think it's just going to be a huge benefit added to them.
Thank you. Man, I'm not the greatest with words, but for anyone coming in that they know they want to do this, but they have a lot of maybe doubt, maybe like we talked about, age can be a factor. It's just, I cannot describe it once you get in here and you sense the compassion you have for just other people, not just to teach someone and send them on down the road, but you genuinely want to see the best in them. Words can't describe the gratitude I have for you, and I won't take it for granted. So
awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, thanks guys.